in what sense would you say God aided a false prophet? Because
sense is
because the God of the Quran matches up the Satan of the Bible.
God of the Quran matches up Satan.
But every debate next week, I'll go into it.
No, wait, you cannot make claim.
Yes.
No, wait. Was Jesus cursed?
Galatians.
Was he cursed?
Yeah, in earth.
He took on the sins of humanity.
No, was he cursed in Galatians?
In
He became cursed. Paul said he became cursed.
he took on a curse.
So Jesus cursed, Satan cursed. Your God is cursed.
First of all, in your Quran, we have the story of Al-Qadir. Al-Qadir, the companion of Moses. And he killed a child before he had sinned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So a child was killed in your own. Just to be like, I disagree with what you're interpreting, but I wouldn't be like start shouting over you and not let you explain or whatever, because that's like,
Nice job.
Because remember, so our discussion, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, that was, I remember asked you, why you reject Prophet Muhammad? You told me you reject Prophet Muhammad because he opposes what the prophets and messengers came before.
Yes.
And I said, okay, I don't agree with that, but I said, because what I do sometimes, let me clarify, sometimes I follow up the Christian to see if they're sincere or not.
Yeah.
Okay? So I said to you, the prophet and the message of the Old Testament, did they believe that God was a man and a God at the same time? You said no.
Yes.
That's his question. However, Jesus came after. He came according to you that God and a man at the same time.
Yes.
But what we see in the Old Testament clearly in the book of Numbers, page 23, verse 19, God is not a man that should lie. That one put aside. We go to Hosea 9. I, the Lord, am not a man. So the Israelites, from their belief, the messenger and the prophet, God is not a man. So logic dictates you should reject Jesus to be a messenger of God, because clearly, explicitly oppose the teaching of the Old Testament or the prophet and the messenger of the Old Testament.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Can I ask a question? I have a question.
No, I'm speaking to you.
So, in terms of what the Jews believe in one God, so we have to understand the nature. So the Bible is authorship about the revelation of God, how he reveals himself to humanity. So it is from a human perspective. So when we look at God says, "Hear Israel, I am one," we have to understand what that means. Is it saying that he's just one, as in
singular?
One, yes, or plurality in the singular?
In unity.
Yes. So the Old Testament is a book of revelation. That God reveals certain things at certain times. It's like a need-to-know basis.
Okay.
So in Isaiah 48, it says, "I've revealed the end from the beginning." And in Proverbs 25:2, it says, "It's for the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings to search it out." So what this is saying is given even like an instruction for people that God puts everything in the Old Testament, because like the Old Testament is like the key that unlocks the New Testament. So a lot of the theology from the New Testament fits in with the Old Testament. So when I was speaking to you last week, so look, this is like a Jewish website. And they say, "Do Jews believe in hell?" That question at first made you think, what? You believe in hell, I believe in hell.
Correct.
So why would the Jews send this question? So they say, "We do believe in a type of hell, but not the one found in cartoons and joke books. Hell is not a punishment in the conventional sense, but you and I both believe that hell is punishment." So why is it the Jews don't believe that? Because they should know it from the beginning.
But to be honest,
but my point is this: God didn't reveal the true nature of hell to them. Because wouldn't it be wise that if these people, like all the people that were doing bad or whatever, it's like certain Muslims or Christians won't do something because they think, I don't want to go to hell. But the Jews never had this in their mind. But then it's an important thing. It took your eternity. But God just revealed, because I asked you, like, how do you view the Torah? and he said it's just a book about how we should be good people, nothing to do with eternity. So even if an important concept as heaven and hell is not explicitly stated to the Jews, then we have to understand the nature of God. God was revealing things at certain times, because it was only until Jesus that he revealed the full context of hellfire and heaven, understand? And then people are like, you can look in the Old Testament and see things that refer to it and be like, that actually sounds like hell.
The problem with that Paperboy, sorry,
Yes.
the problem, I understand, you say basically, correct me if I'm wrong, you say in the Old Testament, God did not reveal everything.
Yes.
So he was like, gradually, okay?
Yeah.
But my point is that you said the reason you reject Prophet Muhammad, because he opposed what the prophets and messengers came with.
Yes.
However, the point here is like, be consistent.
Yes.
If this is the case,
Yes.
literally, when it comes to the oneness of God and believing God,
Yes.
Prophet Muhammad, his teaching go in line with the with the prophets and messengers of the Old Testament. But if in the Old Testament never said God is not a man, maybe you have points.
Yes.
But explicitly said God is not a man.
Yes.
So imagine the Old Testament God said, Jamal, sorry. Imagine in the Old Testament said God is not a man.
Yes.
Listen carefully, and the viewers as well. So in the Old Testament, God is not a man. Then a Christian comes, he said, Jesus, according to Jesus' belief, God is a man and a God at the same time.
Yeah.
That is a clear contradiction.
It's not.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Because what? God is not a man.
Yeah.
Then afterward Jesus comes, he said God is so all from the beginning, the Israelites, prophets and messengers, they have that belief God is not a man. I the Lord, I'm not a man. I the Lord, I'm not a man. That's the Mosaic law. Now Jesus comes, according to you, that he's a man. So that's why you should reject Jesus, because clearly opposed what is in the Old Testament. And you saying gradually, I'm saying if he never said, he explicitly said he's not a man. But about the hellfire, if in the Old Testament God said there is no hellfire at all, then the Christian comes and said there is hellfire, there's a problem with that as well. But he never said that, okay? There's explanation for it. But he explicitly say, I the Lord, I'm not a man. So how are you going to deal with this? There's clear contradictions between Christians and the Old Testament.
I mean, the only reason why I start with the hellfire thing is just to give people context and understanding.
It's not really clear.
Because what I'm trying to say, in the Old Testament, there are references to the afterlife, but they're not fully explained. So God could have revealed everything, just like he could have said, I am a Trinity, but he didn't. There's a purpose for everything. So what I'm trying to say is that
did he reveal something which opposed that teaching of Trinity?
Did he oppose?
Did he? My point here is,
Yes.
okay.
So in terms
in
of
the Old Testament, he did reveal what opposed the teaching God is a man at the same time.
In terms of when he said, I am not a man, that I cannot lie.
No, that's Book of Numbers. I'm talking about Hosea. I the Lord, I'm not a man.
When he said that, at that present time, no Christian believes Jesus was a man.
There was no Christians that
yeah, but I would say no Christians like now, or any, like, even though we believe God came in the flesh, we believe that was God pre-incarnation. So, for example, if like I said to you before, if you go home and your wife, or obviously not married, she brings you baby food.
I'm married.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm married.
If she brings you baby food and says eat with the kids, you'll be like, I'm not a baby. You understand? You were a baby, but now you're a man. So when God says I'm not a man, at that present time, he was not a man.
That's not the same. It's not the same.
No, he didn't say I will never be a man. He said at that present time, I'm not a man.
Okay, so I'm saying to you, easier from the teaching of the old prophets and messengers for God to be a man or not a man. What is the teaching? Based upon the Old Testament alone.
Yes.
What is their teaching? Is for God to be a man or not a man?
From the Old Testament
teaching,
you would probably presume that God, you would understand. At that time, God wasn't a man.
Be honest.
No.
I'm not saying if God was or not.
Yes.
From the teaching of the Old Testament.
Yes.
If you read it, what do you get about God? Is he a man or not a man?
You get that he's not a man.
He's not a man, okay? Please, the God is not a man, okay? However, now that's my point. So if the prophets and messengers of the Old Testament believe God is not a man, then the Christians say God is a man. Clearly, that go and guess one another.
Because that's why I say you're making a mistake. Because God said he didn't say I will never become a man. But I can't.
I understand that, but you remember your point was because I will tell you. You telling me that Prophet Muhammad opposed what is in the Old Testament or the Prophet before. I would say he never said this and that. But he said something which got against it. He said, I'm not a man. So you said because Prophet Muhammad, as you claim, which is not true, and we'll go to it, we see how clearly Prophet Muhammad goes in line with what? Hear me out. With the teaching of the old prophets and messengers. So when you look, hear me out, watch this, Abraham, one God.
Okay.
Adam, one God. Noah, one God. Moses, one God. Jeremiah, one God. Daniel, one God. Who's that? Many prophets. Then Jesus come, Trinity. Then after who? Prophet Muhammad, one God. Logic dictates who is really going in line with the prophets and message of the Old Testament. Who?
So
Muhammad.
That's fine. But now
Makes sense.
Yeah. So now I said, like, we can find verses in the Old Testament that allude to what God was revealing. That's why he said I revealed the end from the beginning. So he's revealing what was to come from the beginning. So I'll give you the book of Isaiah. So this is chapter 48. So I won't read all of it, but basically, listen to me, Jacob. This is God speaking, right? And we go to verse 15. It says, I, even I, have spoken. Yes, I have called him. I will bring him, and he will succeed in his mission. It says, come near me and listen to this. From the first announcement, I have not spoken in secret. At the time it happens, I am there. And now the sovereign Lord has sent me endowed with his spirit. This is what the Lord says, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. So how can God say he's sending himself? Because I've said to you, you can, because the reason why you have to understand the Bible is, like, if I go to the Bible, I can show you prophecies of the Messiah. You might say Muhammad is in the Torah or whatever. If I go to a Jew, what's this about? They'll give me something completely different. You understand? Because they don't have we have the foreknowledge to look at
that is subjective claim.
Yeah,
because they're gonna claim same thing.
Because
they're gonna claim they are blessed and God descended to them. Paperboy is not really helping.
Okay, let me clear this up.
It's a clear cut.
Wait, let me clear this up. You believe Jesus was the Messiah.
Yes, correct.
For the Messiah to come, and people know, he has to be prophesied. So if
it was prophesied,
so if the Messiah was prophesied in the Old Testament, how can the Jews of today reject the same verses that testify about him? Because it's in there. You understand? So that's what I'm saying. So when I read this scripture, sorry, just to make this point. So when I'm reading,
I didn't catch your point. Where's your point?
So my point is this: when I've asked you, how can God say he's sending himself endowed with his spirit? You understand? Because I'm saying, like prophecies, you can look through the scripture, and there's many verses I can bring you more evidence to support my theological claim that God had revealed himself partially from the Old Testament. I don't even need to rely on the New Testament, because the Old Testament is like the key that unlocks the New Testament, where anything theological that Christians will claim has to be kind of asserted to in the Old Testament. That's why even in your Quran you'll say, like Allah said, you can find Muhammad in like the scripture.
Allah said your name is in the description.
But it's the same.
The point that you're missing here, remember the point that we started with.
Yes.
To begin with, that you said to me, I asked this question.
Yes.
Why you reject Prophet Muhammad?
Yes.
One of you claim you said because he opposes the Prophet and the messengers.
Okay.
So I said to you, hold a minute, if this is the case, therefore I'm just following your way, which I don't really accept here, okay? Say for the sake of argument. Be consistent. If this is the case, therefore you should accept and you should reject Jesus. If you read the Old Testament by itself, you come to a conclusion, all of us will come to a conclusion, Christian and the Jews and the Muslim, that God is not a man, based upon the Old Testament by itself. Because say, I the Lord, I'm not a man, correct? However, now you're having a problem in Christianity, that you believe God was a man and a God at the same time. So in one book, God is not a man. In another book, according to you again, God is a man and a God at the same time. So that is a big problem, and I don't want to go repeat over and over again. But I will tell you something which we spoke about last week. I want to ask you, Paperboy, and you answer me. The Christians always come to the Muslim, Jesus the all loving, Jesus the all merciful, Jesus is this. My question was to you, who possesses more mercy and love? Jesus as God or Jesus as a human being? That's a good question.
Jesus as God or Jesus as a human being?
Yeah, who possesses more love and mercy? Jesus as God or Jesus as a human being?
Well, the reason why I would say the preposition of your question is a bit faulty is because there are, for example, in the garden, so Adam and Eve sinned. God says the wages of sin are death, but he spared them death. You understand? He showed his mercy to them. So we can say, well, if God, the sin for God, like you should be struck dead or whatever, that is a big sign of mercy, even if he goes and destroys towns and whatnot. So I can compare that act to and say, well, Jesus never in the New Testament never went and destroyed any towns, But is that act
So
of
punishment,
mercy,
you are saying punishment can be mercy.
punishment can be?
Mercy. Like when God destroyed this nation can be a mercy. That's what you're saying?
What? No.
Correct me if I'm
No,
wrong,
no.
because I don't want to misquote
Yeah,
you.
I wouldn't say punishment is a mercy.
What do you mean so?
It's that I'm saying in one scenario he showed mercy,
Yeah.
and another he destroys a town without mercy.
That justice. That goes back to justice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's displaying both sides of his nature.
So what my question
So
was,
I wouldn't say one can be more merciful than other just
How?
because Jesus didn't show his justice.
no, I'm saying who possess, like, okay,
Yes.
is there anyone possess more mercy than God?
No.
Okay. Jesus as God,
Yes.
Jesus as human, are they equal?
No, they're not.
They're not equal.
They're
So
not.
therefore, who possess more mercy? Jesus as God or Jesus as human?
As God.
As God.
As God.
So when Jesus would say kill children, was that mercy?
Kill children.
Yeah, in the Old Testament.
When
Who-
sorry,
who-
when
but Allah
wait,
said-
wait,
No,
wait,
we're
wait,
talking about
wait,
Allah.
wait,
We're talking about Allah.
Wait, wait.
We're talking
In the
about Allah.
Quran, Allah
No,
says
Christian.
kill people
You
as
see how
well.
we change? We're talking about Allah.
Okay, bring that
What
verse.
you do, you know what you just did? Imagine in the court, someone said, you're a murderer. Instead of defending your case, you say you're a murderer too. Basically,
Yeah.
you say what? I'm a murderer and you're a murderer.
One
No, okay,
second.
before.
Let me
No,
ask you something.
I'm speaking to him.
Let me
No,
ask you.
I will stop it.
Yeah,
No, no.
But you got me involved though. You
No.
got me involved.
Okay, so my question was to
So-
you, when Jesus would say kill children, babies for sin, not because of the people who did it, because sometimes, yes, people can commit sin that can influence even their trees. Not because of that, because of their forefathers did something to Jacob, which is in Samuel. Was that mercy for killing children and infants and babies? My question to you.
But I can't put the question back at you
No,
though.
I can
Because
ask
you
my
got the
question.
same thing.
Can I ask
No,
you
no.
that?
But
I
you
ask you
can-
that.
hold on
I
a
ask you
second.
that.
Wait, just answer.
Can you
Wait,
show?
wait,
No, I ask you that. Can you answer my question?
Wait,
Let me change the back.
Can you answer my question?
you don't want to
Yo,
get
bro,
this
you
way.
try to excited, man.
No, he's trying to scare me.
Christian,
This guy.
It's okay.
Nah, the guy
What's
came
happened to
in.
Christian, man?
The guy
If it's
came in.
you know what? I will never do that.
Challenge
But
him.
if that
Don't
was
come over.
if that was a Muslim, no.
Takes two to tango though.
If that was a
wait, wait,
Muslim, you want to say, look a
takes
Muslim.
two.
But I will not do that. Okay. Yes, you say look a Muslim.
Hold on,
So
hold on.
you know what I'm saying? That the reason I'm saying that. Sorry. The reason I'm saying that we have Christian missionaries
Yes.
going to your Prophet Muhammad fought against enemies. Your Prophet Muhammad killed so and so, as if Prophet Muhammad fighting against enemies that invalidates prophethood. But on the other hand, you said Jesus all loving, but we know Jesus as God according to your statement, which is logical if you believe that God, loving God, is more perfect than human being. But yet he was telling to kill children, women, babies. So don't ever come to us with that statement. It's illogical, to be honest.
I understand your point.
You understand?
because-
That's double standard.
Yeah, obviously, if God is the truth, then like, if something to humans might seem wrong, then we cannot question God in a sense.
No, I'm not talking about that.
No, but
I'm
what
talking
in terms of what is right and wrong?
Yes, what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
You cannot say to me, imagine Paperboy, yeah?
Yeah.
You slap a baby,
Yeah.
and I say, you know what? That's loving, man. He slapped a baby because he's a Muslim, evil man. But both is same action.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, when you come into us as Jesus all loving, don't do that to us again. Because I destroy this argument right now.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? As for Allah, for people who ask, what about Allah destroying people of Lot?
Yeah.
Correct? I'm not talking about, because we believe as a Christian, sometimes because the sin can influence what? Even the trees and the land, okay? Can not influence, affect it, okay? However, we believe when the children die, that will not affect them whatsoever. The proof of that, the Prophet Muhammad said, Allah will bring the most miserable person that lived in the earth. Then Allah will enter him to Jannah, then take him out, and he will ask him, have you ever went through hardship in your life? Remember that no one experienced hardship in his life worse than this person. Allah will put him in Jannah and take him out. And he said, no Allah, and never. Because he went to Jannah, he forgot everything about the hardship. So when the children died, that will go to Jannah straight away. However, I'm talking about your forefathers commit a crime and God kill them because of your forefathers' crime. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
That's not justice. And that's not loving God. And that's not merciful God. And you're smiling, you know that.
Wait, so you're saying it's not merciful?
Yeah, I mean, it's not merciful
Yes.
to say kill this child,
Yes.
not because of the sins that commit during that time,
Okay.
because of the sins that in Samuel, when the forefathers of the Amalekites blocks Jacob from going to Egypt.
Okay.
Are you aware of this?
Yes.
In the Bible.
But the problem is you have to read that in context and why.
Let
God
us
did
read the
that.
context.
No, I'll give you because
No, I have the context.
No, because the reason why is because it covers various chapters. So I'm just summarizing the story.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Paperboy.
yeah, but
the context here.
Yeah, but before you answer,
Don't be scared. I'm not scared. I shouldn't say that. No.
Yeah.
I'll open the Bible.
But let me just give you the full context.
You give the full context and I'll read it.
basically, the Amalekites had also they had always been warring with Egypt for a long time. So when God told them to destroy them, he told Saul that was the order he gave to Saul. Saul did not spare them all. A few of them survived. And what happened is, centuries down the line, they tried to attack, I think it was David, and eliminate his line. That's the line of David was the line that the Messiah came through. So imagine if this person had killed David, there would be no Messiah. So God, in his foreknowledge, because that's why I say you won't just get it from the one chapter.
No,
it's like the whole reading of the chapters, because what he's saying.
The reason is being mentioned here. So I want you to show me how you're gonna combine between these two reasons and show me the other reason.
But
let me read the reason after. Okay, let me read the reason for you. Yeah, look. 15. Look, read. Samuel also said to Saul, "The Lord sent me to anoint you king over His people, over Israel. Now, therefore, heed the voice of the words of the Lord. That says the Lord of hosts. I will punish Malek for what he did to Israel." No, look, Israel. You know how many centuries between these two? Okay, and do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, infants. ISIS, remember ISIS killing children? That's nothing to do. Now, infants.
Yeah, but
hear me out. Infants. Where is the other one? Sorry. Infants and a nursing child, ox and a sheep, a camel and a donkeys. Okay, what the donkeys did to their forefathers as well, they commit sin as well.
Now, but a minute ago, he said we cannot question God.
Because that's a game. You can't play this game.
Okay.
So every time you ask about Allah, said don't ask him. No.
Yeah, but if you're playing that game, I'll play that game.
No, Paperboy. What I'm saying. I agree with you. Sometimes listen carefully to my statements.
But I'm not playing that game.
No, I'm not playing. What I'm saying, Paperboy. I'm saying Allah said in the Quran clearly. لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. Allah will not punish people because of their forefathers did something else. You'll be responsible for your own sin. Correct? He will be responsible for. She will be responsible for her own sin. When the messenger of Allah, so that's why in Islam, if someone come kill my sister, I'm not allowed to go kill his sister because his sister has nothing to do with me. I'm going to kill him. So I'm saying killing innocent children, no infant babies. Why? The reason because the Amalekites blocked who? David.
But just to contrast what he said, because people now have the killing children in their brain. So when we go to the
that's
Quran,
Jesus, that's God.
It says, so when our commandment came, we turned the towns of Sodom of Palestine, Sodom in Palestine, upside down and rained on them stones baked of clay piled up, each stone marked from your Lord, and they are not ever far from the wrongdoers. So now, if we go to the
Ibn Kathir, Ibn Kathir said every stone was marked. So therefore, this tafsir go against you. Why? Because we know that children are free from sins. So therefore, according to tafsir, children were not dead.
So you're
no children dead.
So you're telling me?
Because why? Because we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the messenger of Allah said in the hadith, رُفِعَ الْقَلَمُ عَنْ ثَلَاث. The person should not be accountable for sin after these three things occur. If he's sleeping and he says something like disbelief, Allah will not take him accountable
until he wakes up.
If a person is insane, crazy, and if he says disbelief, Allah will not take him accountable. Also, who? A child. So that tafsir got against you. Can you read it out? Read it out to them. As I said, until become what do you call adults. So read it out.
Let me
read it out. That tafsir helps me. Doesn't help you.
All right, but so it says. So it says this word means.
Musawwim.
So it says this word means that some of them followed others in their descent upon the people of Lut concerning the statement. Marked means the stones were sealed, marked and sealed, all of the victims having their names
on it.
Of the victims written on it.
Yes. So therefore doesn't include children.
Okay. So
So Allah is showing people flawed doesn't include children.
First of all,
because our children are not accountable for the sins.
All right.
So now can you deal with the sorry.
Yeah, he said children are accountable for their sins. That's fine. So first of all,
but you're not dealing with the Bible too.
No, I know. But it's just because you kept talking about that, so I now have to make a comparison to the Quran.
No, it's not because
unfair.
No, it's not fair. You know why? Remember, I repeat again. I do agree with you sometimes. As I mentioned,
Yeah.
If people commit sin,
Yes.
that can even influence, affect
Yes.
even nature.
Yes.
You see, so there's no
Yeah.
rain, there'll be no rain for us.
Yes.
Yes. I'm saying, I'm not talking about same people.
Yes.
I'm talking, imagine my.
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you me. My father is Saeed. Okay. Muhammad Abdul Qadir. No, Ahmed.
Yes.
So Abu Azza. So Abu Azza, my fourth grandfather,
Okay.
did something to people.
Yes.
Then Allah will say, kill me as a baby because of my great grandfather Abu Azza. Allah will not do that because what has
All
nothing
right.
to do with you. Not in time, you're not in the same time, so his
Okay.
sin will not affect you.
Okay, now let me
See,
go back
okay.
to. Let's go back to Sodom and Gomorrah.
No,
First
Sodom
of all,
Gomorrah.
yeah,
Let's
just-
no,
yeah,
no.
but this
Talk
tafsir,
about, no,
I know.
not to say.
No, but let me just make
come
my,
on.
no, I know, but let me just make
Let's
my
talk
point.
about why
Yeah,
God,
that's
all mercy God,
yeah.
which you believe is Jesus, said to kill children
yeah,
and babies.
We can get to that, but let
Samuel.
me just make my point on this, so you can answer it. So first of all,
No, I'm not going to answer because I'm going to take you
oh
back to
come on,
Samuel. You know why?
that's-
Because
I
that
know-
was the main subject.
That's fine.
Samuel.
We can go back to it, but
Okay.
let me just
Tell us, inshallah.
make this point.
Go
So
on.
you're saying, first of all, that the whole town was destroyed. First of all, let's say all the parents were destroyed. How are the children going to survive? A young baby.
The first
if
thing-
the whole cities were destroyed.
The first thing now you have to establish our children.
the children of the people that were killed.
You have to establish that.
Because
Like now Allah can provide for them in
okay,
any way.
but logically,
you
see,
no, but Allah can provide for them. Allah provide for anyone. Allah, the Messenger of Allah said, for
You see,
Rasulullah said, if you
let's
put
talk
trust.
about logic here.
No, you will believe miracles. You
Yes.
don't believe in logic.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
Wait,
خلاص.
because he said Allah.
Thank you for bringing it.
Because Allah, he said Allah will spare the children, and I just want
No,
to.
because why?
I want to challenge that claim, and I did say to you, if there's something I disagree with,
Can you
I
bring
will,
me? Look.
I will
So,
challenge
to
you.
make it clear to you, look,
Yes.
Paperboy. You said logically, yeah? Let us see logically. Logically, if someone say he destroyed a town, yeah, people say maybe they were children, maybe they're not children, okay? For the sake of argument. But you dealing with a verse that unclear doesn't mention children. But I'm dealing with a verse explicitly mention killing infant
Okay.
babies.
All right.
So my one is stronger than yours.
all right.
Yours, you just make it
wait.
things.
First of all, in your Quran, we have the story of Al-Qadir. Al-Qadir, the companion of Moses. And he
Al-Khidr,
killed
yeah.
a child
Yeah.
before he had sinned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So a child was killed in your own Quran.
No, quote it correctly. No, quote it correctly.
The person-
Quote it
wait.
correctly. No,
Okay.
quote it correctly.
The
What?
person,
No, quote it
yeah,
correctly.
he was killed because he's going to be a transgressor.
Because what?
He was going to be a
But
transgressor.
it was the baby.
So-
Wait.
It was no baby. It was no baby.
So
It was
now,
no baby. No, my point-
applying
no,
it to
no.
the Bible,
Yeah.
how does he know those children weren't going to be transgressors?
I'll tell
too?
you why. I'll tell you
Yes.
why. Because the story of Qaeda, first of all,
Okay.
we don't follow the legislation of Qaeda.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's first thing. But second thing, do we know that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala
No, I'm talking
is
about
not.
the Amalek
Yeah. No. I'll ask her. First of all, even I said we don't. Let me make clearer.
Okay.
Allah Subhanahu wa Taala clearly mentioned what was the reason
Yes.
for Qaeda, Al-Khidr doing killing that child. It wasn't
Okay.
baby. First of all, it was a child. Faham? So it was a
A
boy,
young child.
a boy.
A young boy.
Yeah, young boy.
Yeah.
So it could be, you know, it's a young boy in Arabic language. It could be 14 as well. He's a
That's
young
still
boy.
a young boy though.
Huh?
That's still a boy though.
Yeah, but
Still
wait,
age of discernment.
wait. What is age of maturity according to the Bible?
At 12.
Huh? 12. So it's adult. He's accountable.
But he was killed before he did it.
No, he was accountable.
But yeah, no,
I'm
but it
saying even
says
I'm
he
using
killed,
guessing.
yeah, but he was
Anyway,
killed before he
No,
was a transgressor.
But I'm saying, so imagine the reason why.
Yes.
Because he's going to become a transgressor.
Yes.
But you having a problem or loving God, Jesus, as you
Okay.
claim, killing the babies and children because no, they're going to become transgressors. Because
How do
they
you know that?
Because here, let me read it out again.
Yes.
Come on, the context
Yes,
clear.
no.
Because their forefathers
But-
did something to who?
Yes.
To Israel.
But this is why I said to you, you
Paperboy,
have to
come
read.
on.
No, but this is why I said to
Wallah,
you.
it's clear,
No,
man.
but this is why I said you can't pick the verse. You have to actually read the whole chapter because what happened
Read the whole
was-
chapter here.
No,
The whole chapter doesn't help you because you know what?
no,
the whole
but-
chapter, God will become
no,
regret.
but I'm-
Let's
No
let it
problem.
Yeah, so basically, if you read the book, because I told you it was about Saul, and you read it was about Saul. So what happens is actually some of them survive, and then they regroup and they mount to attack, and it almost like centuries later on the house of David. So God, in His foreknowledge, knew that if they survive, they're gonna do this. And when what we see in the Bible is we see the consequences because not everyone was killed. So we actually see the consequences of.
Show me,
and-
look. I showed
Yeah.
you clear from your book, yeah?
Yes.
That the reason they were killed,
Yes.
God in the Bible said kill children and women
Yes.
and babies
Yes.
because their forefathers did something.
Yes.
That based upon the text, okay?
All
You
right.
bring
I would
another
have to
text.
bring the evidence,
Okay,
but-
you have to bring it. So we're
yeah.
going to finish it here. I really have to go,
Right,
inshallah.
Okay, and just about the kid point, about I've got a hadith for you.
Hadith in Sahih Bukhari when the Messenger of Allah ﷺ sent a group of army. I will
No,
clarify.
no.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
When he said it's from
no,
them.
this is from Sunan Ibn Majah.
Okay,
Sahih,
Prophet Muslim,
that's
yeah.
right.
Okay.
So it says it was narrated
No,
that
sure.
Aisha, the
Sahih
mother,
Muslim as well.
the mother of believers said, the messenger of Allah was called to the funeral of a child from amongst the Ansar.
Yeah.
We all know the Ansar was like the good Muslims.
Okay.
I said, O messenger of Allah, glad tidings for him. He is one of the little birds of paradise who never did an evil act or reached the age of doing evil, i.e. the age of accountability.
Yes.
He said, it may not be so, Aisha, for Allah created people for paradise. He created them for it when they were still in their father's loins, and he has created people for hell. He has created for them when they were still in their father's loins. So Allah,
So there was
these people didn't even have free will before they were born. So how can Allah show mercy on someone that he's destined for hell?
No. This hadith.
Okay.
Look. There's a hadith where Prophet mentioned that the children
Yes.
who died before the age of maturity,
Yes.
they will go to paradise.
But here it doesn't say that.
No. This hadith, first of all, Prophet he is telling of Aisha to not speak. I know, but it doesn't help you. Remember, the main point I will remind the Christians that all loving God and Jesus, which we believe, he said kill children. Not because they're gonna become criminals, because their forefathers were criminals. So imagine you do something, then I come kill your children. No, so that
I've
one,
given you that.
No, but it doesn't help you. But I will explain this narration. This narration, first of all, the scholars mentioned that Prophet is telling of Aisha to not speak about something from the unseen.
Yes.
Okay, that's one thing. Then he told her that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the creation for hell and they created the creation of paradise. Okay, I'm saying.
Yes.
But he never said explicitly that child is going to go to hellfire or paradise. But what I'm saying, I repeat it again for the viewers, and I'm going to conclude it here.
But
Now
how
remember,
do you create someone for hell? And
because
paradise?
Allah foreknowledge.
Yeah, but you said
Because
they don't go to hell. But how can he create someone for hell if they
No,
don't
I'm
go
not
to
saying
hell?
I'm not saying the child, but
Yes.
I'm saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows some people they'll go to hellfire based
Yes.
upon his foreknowledge.
Yes.
Correct? So that it doesn't help you, even for the sake of argument, to make it look, I'm gonna go, as I say, for the sake of argument. Even if that child. But what we're saying, the hadith, the child is gonna become transgressor based upon Allah foreknowledge, is gonna judge him according to his foreknowledge. However, there's many clear texts Allah will not judge people, that Allah will judge you according to actions. But the point here I want to make it clear, the all-loving God, all-loving Jesus, explicitly kill children, women, and babies and infants.
Yes.
So as a Christians, you have no leg to step
Okay,
on.
but
I'm gonna stop
wait,
here.
Wait, let this about 10 more minutes, because I want to actually get back onto prophethood, because I
the
can go into this.
prophethood, okay,
I can go into this.
Oh, we're
But
gonna go
it's a
into
bit
it.
of a sidetrack.
Okay, no,
For example, in Numbers 23:23, it says, "No magic will harm Israel, or it will harm Jacob." So how is it?
Doesn't say magic. Remember, read it again. Remember,
Yeah.
we read it. Doesn't say magic.
Okay.
Read it out.
It's basically it's the
No,
same thing
no,
as magic.
no,
Okay,
no.
let me
Don't
read
explain
it.
it away. Okay, read it out.
All right.
And remember, I'm just
Numbers-
extra. And my point was,
Yes.
for the sake of argument, I don't accept the book you book as a criteria.
Well,
You know that, innit?
okay.
That's why I was telling you. I was telling you that. I was telling you that
Okay.
be consistent.
It says there is no divination against Jacob. What is divination? It's magic. No, divination. It's like the divine comes from the divine. It's like the unseen, basically.
Yeah, the unseen, not magic.
Yeah, divination is like magic.
All the time is
Okay,
oh,
if I go
yeah.
to the Blue Letter Dictionary, we can get like the
Okay, go
definition.
on. Not
You
evil.
want- And no evil omens against Israel. It will be said of Jacob and Israel, see what God has done. So I can give you just the King James, just to give you a different translation to understand. So it says, surely there is no enchantment. Enchantment is
Where's enchantment? Define enchantment.
enchantment is like magic.
Yeah, okay.
Against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what hath God wrought? The reason why
That's a good point. I'm going to mention
the
something.
reason why this was established on prophets is there's various reasons. One, because it, as you read Deuteronomy 18:18, a prophet cannot speak words other than what is from God.
It's 1821.
If a prophet was under
Precise.
enchantment, he could be speaking anything. So God has divinely this is what he's saying, that there's a divine protection on the prophets.
That's what Allah said in the Quran.
But then when we see Muhammad, Allah says,
hadith.
no, yeah, we see that Muhammad was bewitched.
Hadith.
Yes.
Yes.
But I'm sure in the Quran it says Satan has no hold over the prophets.
He has no.
He has no hold over a prophet.
Yeah.
So,
in Revelation, you have to specify it.
okay.
Because
Let me-
wait. So when you first of all, let us remember. You said sometimes I'm gonna go to you criteria to show you that Christian, be consistent. You can't come to me and try to play around. With the permission of Allah. No play, sorry, I'm not saying you play around. Because I'm not, my point is, so in that verse, does it say no prophet will be affected by magic? No prophet whatsoever. I was talking about Israel.
So it says, let me read it again.
Yeah, go on.
Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob.
Who?
Jacob. Neither is there any divination against Israel.
Israel, okay.
Yes.
So does it not say against any prophet?
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So you told me, when I said to you about in the Old Testament, said God is not a man. You said no, God never said he will never be a man. Okay? But I said to you, but he said God is not a man, but yet you still believe that Jesus never opposed the Old Testament.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So now in that is not a criteria will not help you. That is not a criteria that will help you to invalidate Prophet Muhammad sallallahu prophethood. Let me ask you this and conclude this.
Okay.
Do you
Well,
believe-
the reason why I say that.
I give you another one.
even the-
No, but let me finish. I'll the hadith.
Yeah.
I'll finish up. As for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu hadith correctly, he will not the magic did not affect him in the revelation.
Okay.
As the hadith mentioned,
Okay.
Prophet sallallahu he thought.
How do you know?
Because the hadith says hadith.
But
Let
how
me
do you?
finish.
It says
Because the hadith, in hadith.
It affected him in Revelation.
No, it doesn't affect him in Revelation. When he had just with one, he thought as he had with many, because he became very, very weak. So it affected him in his strength. Na'am. And Allah clearly said about Prophet Muhammad, and that's all it affects. Because Allah clearly said, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ.
So let me just confirm. I just want to correct. So it's the recitation of the Quran that you're talking about. The revelation.
No, revelation. Whatever is from God doesn't affect him. Hadith and the Quran. There was no control from Satan. The only that the magic that affected him, it was in his strength. Okay? Why? Allah said clearly, Prophet Muhammad does not speak from his own desires. He speaks from the revelation. Whatever Allah tells him, he will say it. So that criteria, first of all.
But he was imagining sleeping with his wife.
Not imagining. Imagine now.
Yes.
I work imagine I'll go to one construction building site. So I work. I become me. Usually I can do 5 construction sites.
Okay.
But today I've done 1 construction site and I feel like I've done 5. So the effect is only in to my strength. I feel like. So he felt like what? He had consummation a relationship with this.
He felt.
Yeah, he felt that because he became very weak. Nah? So
No.
only in his power.
But if I go to the tafsir,
Yeah, you
the
go to
tafsir
tafsir.
says his hair fell out.
It's not, so that revelation?
No, but you said it was only affected him inside.
That's effect, yeah. Because the hadith said
but
that.
I'm saying
No,
it
but
physically affected him.
No, the hadith, the apparent hadith, that's what
Yeah.
it says. Now you tafsir, remember
Yeah.
tafsir
Yeah.
is not, I don't have to tafsir of every scholar. Because I'm quoting a scholar as well.
Yeah.
The scholar I'm quoting for people to go back check
Okay.
is one of the well-known, well-established from the
Okay.
big scholars of hadith.
Okay.
His name Muhammad Nasir al-Din al-Albani.
Okay.
And he mentioned that clearly.
Okay.
So Paperboy, you keep saying so, and I said I'm gonna go.
All right.
You see what I'm saying?
We'll
But
do this
remember,
next. We'll do
to
let's do it
summarize it, you
properly.
summarize it. My
Wait.
point is, look, your point to reject Prophet Muhammad, it cannot stand.
But the thing, because this conversation is wrapped up quickly, I
Inshallah.
would like a proper conversation.
Inshallah,
Maybe
no
next week,
worries.
because you got to go.
Yeah.
But let's do it properly, because there are other things I want to discuss with you.
Inshallah.
And then we can all learn and whatnot.
Yeah,
But
inshallah.
because you're going, so I'm not going to be like Shamsi's running.
Nah, no, we don't do that. But Paperboy.
But can we agree to do this next week?
Hopefully, inshallah, yeah.
Okay.
But what I will
Alright.
tell you, Paperboy, remember, go and think about it deeply, seriously. Because I believe,
Yes.
the Christians, some of them, they will look for any excuse to reject Prophet Muhammad,
Alright.
even though sometimes those
Okay.
excuses go against their own belief.
Alright.
For example, the excuse you mentioned
Okay.
about what? Prophet Muhammad go against the old prophets,
Yes.
which clearly Jesus
But-
go against the teaching of the old prophets.
Yeah, but even we see Muhammad himself, first of all,
Salam.
Shaitan says, we had no authority over you, but just to misguide you. Let me.
What do you mean, Satan?
Shaitan.
Who
let
says
me
that?
get the- it
That will
says-
not happen because your
Yeah,
God
so it says, I had,
your God was extended by Satan.
Ibrahim 14:22. It says, I had no power over you except to call you.
That's
but
not
you
Prophet
listened to-
Muhammad. That's the first.
No, I'm saying
that's their
that-
judgment.
Yeah, but
Allah
I'm saying
judges the people.
Satan doesn't have like authority over people, like in terms of magic and whatnot.
No, he cannot force them. That's
Yeah,
why.
exactly. Yeah.
But he can
So-
affect you in a way.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
But he
saying in
cannot force
terms of
you, yeah.
magic. So even Muhammad, he said, Ajwa dates and 7 Ajwa dates,
Yeah.
you will not be affected by
Satan.
poison
Yeah,
or magic.
Or magic, correct.
And we also know that when he was poisoned by the Jewish woman,
Yeah, he was
that
poisoned.
caused his death.
That's what they say. They said,
Yes.
yeah.
So-
No, that cause is death because he didn't die.
death.
He didn't die.
No.
He didn't die. But he was feeling. He got the pain after. But he didn't to die.
Next week, because that's
No,
what
no,
I
'cause
wanted
I know
to
the
go
hadith.
into. I've got quite a few.
No, the
Yes.
Paperboy,
It's
look.
not just the
What
one.
you do, you quote hadith and this and
No,
that.
yes.
My point here is, look, now you keep talking. To be honest, you want completely different.
I know,
ways.
that's why I said
You
next
talk about-
week.
You talk about Ajwa, first
Yes.
time Ajwa,
Because next
Satan
week,
has
if
no
we
control.
have
My point,
longer,
look,
I
to
can actually
summarize
break
it
it
2
down.
points, and we
Yes.
can make it. That you said Prophet Muhammad cannot be a prophet because
Yes.
he got against the teaching of the all prophets and messengers.
Yes.
Which is, if anyone,
Okay.
any Christian or Jew
All
is
right.
sincere, Prophet Muhammad doesn't do. We talk about the oneness of God.
All right.
Worship one God. Allah said clearly, we say, "Oh Muhammad, we believe in the God of Abraham and Jacob and Isaac." Okay, that's one thing. But logically speaking, the only one that the only one that opposes the teaching of the foundation of the old prophet, or the prophet and the message of the Old Testament,
Okay.
according to you, is Jesus. God is not a man. Jesus said God is one. Is a man. In the Old Testament, God is one. Jesus was Trinity. According to you, Prophet Muhammad is one. The other you said because he was affected by magic,
Yes.
and you tried to use something which is specific about Jacob and Israel.
Yes.
And I told you be consistent.
Yes.
You said sometimes God says something in the Old Testament, but doesn't mean nothing will happen. That different thing will happen.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, so I
Yeah.
said to you, in that passages doesn't help you.
But-
so you quote passages. The other thing I mentioned.
But the
about-
reason why I brought that up, because in your Quran and Hadith, it confirms the same sort of principle.
I will tell you something. You know what?
Because in terms of, you said the Muslims
Sorry,
will
I
make the
will
claim
trust you.
that the poison didn't kill him, or the iota thing, because
Yeah.
Muhammad used to go for cupping because he still had felt the poison in his blood. So you don't go for he had cupping because
Not because of that cupping, because you know the hadith of the cupping.
Yeah, do you want me to bring the hadith? I
You-
can show-
if you're gonna bring the hadith of cupping,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna carry you on about the other thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Go on.
if you're saying he didn't have poison in him after that,
That,
I
no,
can
no,
bring
no. So we
hadith
didn't
to-
kill him. You know why?
Okay.
Because look, Prophet Muhammad ate it,
Yes.
and the companion ate it.
Yes.
The companion died.
Yes.
Prophet lived longer
Yes.
after that.
Yes.
So how come they ate same poison?
Yes.
One died,
Yes.
one never died.
Okay.
So that poison, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected from it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
But-
That's why the woman was killed. She was killed not because she poisoned him,
Yes.
because why? As you know, as a Sharia, even
Yes.
according to the Mosaic law, if you kill someone, you get killed.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So that's why she was killed. But my point here is, look, do you believe Allah? Do you believe God is the most just?
Yes.
Okay, so is it just for God to allow a false prophet, according to you, a liar,
Okay.
who is going around saying that God told him to say this,
Yes.
yet God aided him to overpower the Christians and the Jews?
Yes.
Not just him,
Okay.
aided him,
Okay.
aided his followers to
overpower them in what
establish all the countries that was belong to the Christian
Yes.
empire.
Yes.
He came for the Muslims.
Okay.
Islam became the largest religion.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Spread, and many Egyptians were Christians. They became Muslims. The people of Syria, people of Palestine, people of Jordan became Muslims.
Yes.
So my point here is, we know that God here sometimes allow a false prophet to do some things. Eventually God will expose him. However, Allah not just aid Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad, before he died, Islam was well established in the Arab Peninsula. Then his companions established Islam in most of the world. So now two things: either God was not watching him, that's why Prophet Muhammad did this, or he was a true prophet of God. That's why one of the signs of a true prophet.
Fruits you should know them.
Yes, by the fruit you should know them. That's why one of the signs of a true prophet, that God will aid the true prophet and will expose the false prophets.
So
So what do you think about God? Is it the true, the most, or is it the oppressor or the just?
So in terms of God has given a guidance, which was the New Testament. So anyone that follows anything after it is being led astray
By,
by.
that's my question, bro.
Yeah.
Is God the most just or the oppressor?
God is the most just.
So is it from the most just God to allow false prophets to overpower and to establish his religion for centuries?
But who says he's?
Please, can you then speak?
What about Hitler? Then what about Hitler? Why
Hitler
did
was not
Allah-
prophet.
Why did Allah allow him to exist then?
Because he was not prophet, he never
no,
came
but,
from God.
but Allah let
He
him
was
to
not,
overcome though.
to be honest, if Hitler came to be a prophet, you should accept him.
No, but the thing is,
You know that?
overcome, didn't
You know that?
1 second.
No, he was not
Didn't-
prophet of God.
I know,
He didn't
but
overcome,
didn't
he
you overcome?
No, he didn't. He
That's
didn't.
what you mentioned.
He didn't. No, Hitler never.
No, you said why did God allow a false prophet
I didn't say
to
that.
overcome?
Not just overcome, and not just aided him for his religion to be established and to overpower the
Yeah,
other
but this is
religion.
the thing.
Not just that, not
Yeah.
just prophets, even his
What difference
companions.
does it make?
All
What
right.
difference
So,
does it
but
make?
first of
Because
all,
remember, I'll tell you, mate.
you would
Sorry,
have
one
to-
minute, people. What I'll tell you, make it clear to you.
right.
Imagine you're a king,
Okay.
and you have two you have you said ambassador
Yes.
to teach something.
Yes.
Then a false ambassador goes around killing people in your name,
Yes.
claiming that you send him.
Yes.
Would you expose him?
Yes.
Okay. Are you more wiser than God?
Am I more wiser than God?
Yeah.
No.
So how come God allowed Prophet Muhammad to overpower the Christians and the Jews? Not just him, aided even his companions, not just his companions, aided even his followers for centuries, even our time.
But that's not a
same
point in
time,
itself.
that is a
Because,
different
for example,
point. Jesus
is confused about it.
for example, I can say to you, there's probably more atheists than religious people.
There's not, it's not, it's not. There's
how-
not more
how many-
atheists.
how-
There's no more.
Okay,
There's
okay,
more
wait,
people with
okay,
religion than atheists.
there's-
In
okay,
America,
wait,
there's more
okay.
people believe in God than atheists in America.
Okay.
You're not
In
comparing
the-
the same thing. You're not.
Let's just say,
You're
look,
not answering
Because
because
Prophet Muhammad established a doctrine.
yeah, okay, let me make my point, because I've been giving you lot the courtesy to talk, and
Yeah, he
I
was talking.
haven't
Go
actually
on, go
spoken
on.
much.
But I have to finish it because I'm just saying you think about it, but you want to talk.
we
Go
will
on.
continue this. I
Khalas,
want to go into
inshallah.
it details because I want to bring my evidence next week,
Inshallah.
and we'll discuss it, because
But who do with the
I've
foundation?
let Shamsi do a lot of talking, and I've just listened. But next week, because if we're not time constrained, then we'll go into it on a more deeper level, because I don't want to be bringing verses in here and it's like I gotta go. So your point of how can God allow Islam to rise and not do anything, is that was your
No,
question?
how I aid the false
Considering
prophets.
there are only two
First
faiths.
of all,
Yeah.
in what sense would you say God aided a false prophet? Because
Okay, sense is sorry.
because the God of the Quran matches up the Satan of the Bible.
God
So,
of the Quran
yes.
matches up Satan.
But
of the
every
Bible.
debate next week, I'll go into it.
No,
I'll
no,
give
wait,
you
wait,
the-
wait, no, no. You cannot make claim.
Yeah.
No, no, wait.
Okay.
You made a claim.
All right.
No,
Let
no,
me
no.
just explain it.
Yeah, no, hear me out.
Okay.
I will ask you to explain it more. Does Satan tell you to worship a perfect God?
Does Satan worship?
Does Satan tell you to worship a perfect God?
Satan will tell you to worship what leads you away from the true
No,
God.
I'm asking you. Does Satan tell you to worship a perfect God?
No.
No.
Wait.
Okay.
How do you know Allah is perfect?
No, but we'll go to
How
that.
do you know?
I will go to that, please.
Yeah.
Step by step. Does Satan tell you to be good to your neighbor?
Okay,
Yes,
if I
it
go
does.
to the book of
So- so-
if
so
I
if
go
it's-
to
if
if I
it's-
go to the book
no,
of
no,
Mormon,
no,
if I
before
go
we go
no,
to-
no, you haven't let
step
me
by
speak,
step.
but you haven't let me
No,
speak. Wait, because remember,
Step by
I let you speak.
But I want to
Shamsi.
understand.
Yeah, but you I'm giving you an explanation.
No, but I want
yeah,
to please.
If we
I haven't finished one point. Let
no,
me
but
finish.
I didn't
No,
even start.
I will let you finish. Well, I will
yeah,
let
but
you finish.
you can't
No, I will let
again.
finish.
No, but let me speak.
I will let
'cause
you-
I gave you the courtesy to
But
speak
my
for about
point,
5
I
minutes.
finish. One second. Just one second, I'll let you. 1 second. The reason I'm saying that,
Okay.
because we know to be good to your neighbor is something good.
Okay.
Satan tell you to do
All right.
evil. He said
Okay.
Satan
Okay,
tell you to do
wait, let me.
What about Ulumbo? What about Ulumbo?
No,
Satan
wait.
ask you to
Okay,
seek
let me
refuge from
ask
himself.
From himself.
Let
Good
me
points.
say.
What about
wait,
Ulumbo?
Go on.
First of all, the
What about
Bible
him?
says to God good deeds are like a filthy rag. God
Paul
does-
said that, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, Paul, Paul.
but it says it in the Old Testament as well.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, I can't remember what book. So he says.
Okay, so what is your point?
So my point is, good deeds does not mean anything to God. Like, right?
If you're not sincere, of course,
yeah,
if you're not
following
sincere,
what
yeah.
God has ordained is what appeals to Him, what is righteousness. So,
But that's a good deed if you follow what God
but-
said.
So I can say to you, if we look at the Book of Mormon. Is Joseph Smith a prophet because he advises people to do good things?
I'm not saying that.
Exactly.
No, no, I'm
but
not
he
saying
can. He
Listen carefully what I
also
said.
advises people to do
No,
good
what I
things.
said- what I said-
You
no, what I said,
understand? So
Paperboy.
good deeds is not the
No,
criteria.
but I'm
there
saying,
is one-
sorry. Does Satan tell you to do good deeds?
Yes.
Satan tell you to do good deeds.
Yes.
So if Satan tell you to to do good deeds,
Not all the time, but yeah.
Therefore, God will tell you the opposite of Satan, because God and Satan they cannot tell you this to do the same thing.
But there's
correct?
one good deed
So,
he will not.
okay, Shamsi,
do.
okay,
No,
no answer.
wait,
So
wait.
how would you explain Ulumba? How would you
forget
explain
about
him?
Ulumba. What I'm telling you,
Okay, 1 second,
you're missing
Shamsi.
my point. Yes, sometimes people that have false religion and they have good there, but you
Can I
cannot
answer your question then?
No,
That's
no,
the answer
that's
then.
my point. My point is that's that good. We cannot say that's from Satan. We say yes, that is from God, but there's other things which we can say is from Satan. But you cannot say what Quran came with is from Satan. You have to say yes. Maybe some of it for the sake of arguments, and some
That's
of it
what
not.
I said.
No, he said all of it.
No.
Said the Quran. The Quran said
me
the
or
Quran-
him?
No, him. Said the
I
Quran.
don't know.
The God of Quran is like Satan of the Bible, which is not true, because the Satan will not tell you to worship the God of Abraham, would he?
Okay.
And what Satan? Does Satan tell you to seek
Okay,
refuge
let me-
from Allah? No, does Satan tell you to
Wait, I
does
can answer
Satan
that.
tell you to ask Allah to destroy him?
Wait, now let me give you an example
That's-
from
that's
the.
the last
Let me
one.
give you an example from the Bible. It's
Him.
Acts 16. 16. And I'm going to ask you a question on this.
Remember, we don't accept the Bible's
that's fine,
criteria.
but that's fine. Listen to this.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
listen. If you took over Matthew,
no,
Mark, Luke, and
Yeah,
John,
no, but just listen to what I'm saying. It says, once we were going to the place of prayer, We were met by a female slave who had a spirit by which she predicted the future. She earned a great deal of money for her owners by fortune telling. She followed Paul and the rest of us shouting, "These men are servants of the Most High God who are telling you the way to be saved." She kept this up for many days. Finally, Paul became so annoyed that he turned around and said to the spirit, "In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to come out of her." At that moment, the spirit left her. Now I'm going to ask you this. I can read it again if you're still not.
No, go ask
But
me.
I'm asking you, why do you think Paul rejected this woman?
First of all, don't accept that. I
No,
don't know
but
what it is.
you can't.
No, tell us. We don't
You
know.
tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us.
So basically,
it's irrelevant to
Yeah,
the main point
no,
we're
it's
talking
not
about.
right. Even if you take it as a metaphor, that's
No,
fine.
I'm not saying metaphor.
Okay.
It's irrelevant to
Okay,
our main
so
point.
basically, you're saying why would God, Satan?
Satan worship the God of Abraham.
Yes. So we have this story where Paul is going preaching the gospel, and a woman who does like witchcraft is following him and saying, "These men are from God. These men are for God." But he got annoyed at her and cast the demon spirit out of her. First of all, if she has a demon spirit in her, why is she saying these men are from God?
Which
The
man
re-
was talking about?
Paul and the apostles.
Okay, they're from God.
That's the answer.
Yes.
That's a good one. Good
So
one.
that was
So,
true.
yeah, so
According to you, which I don't really know.
so basically the reason why he cast the spirit out is because she, as the text says, she was doing like fortune telling for money. So people are going to see this woman following these guys and thinking she's one of them. So when she starts following fortune telling, people, because they've seen her for a few days following them, saying these are men of God,
So you're freeing
they're going to
themselves
associate them
yeah.
with this woman.
It's
So,
too late, bro.
so that's what I'm saying. The principle behind this verse is that you're saying, how can Satan say something? But the thing
No,
is,
no. That I'm saying.
Yes.
If you let me finish, it will be clear to you.
But what I'm saying is,
Let me
this woman
finish.
was possessed by an evil spirit. But
But
this
what-
evil spirit was confirming that these men were of God. Rather than congratulate her, they cast out the spirit. It's because what the potential behind what she was doing was more deceitful than what she was actually saying.
Exactly.
You
So
understand?
Paperboy, you
what
missed
my point is this. So if, let's say for argument's sake, if Muhammad was possessed by Satan, or Allah was Satan or whatever,
How would you
he
believe
can
in that?
I mean you can reject, that's fine, but
Satan-
my argument,
Satan
wait, let
is
me just
powerful
finish.
than the God of
Yeah, but
God.
let me just finish my point. My point is this: Satan can deceive people and closely associate with something, as this woman was trying to do, so it will lead people from the true path. That's why Paul rejected
So
I
her.
have a question to you: is what is Satan's greatest deception?
Yes.
What is Satan? The first great deception.
No. For mankind, for salvation. What, as far as the Old Testament, I know you believe Christ is Lord and Savior. As far as the Old Testament and general teaching of the Old Testament and Muslims concerned, what is Satan's greatest deception? Is it not the contravention of the first commandment? That thou shalt love thy Lord with all thy heart and all thy might and all thy soul, and thou shalt not worship any graven images above and below the sea. Did Muhammad contravene that? Because Satan would certainly not encourage you in the first commandment.
Okay,
That's true.
So
That's why I was going to. If
Wait,
you're allowed
wait,
to finish,
wait, okay.
if you're allowed to finish, I was going to
Okay,
foundation.
the reason, and
God
the
of
reason why,
Abraham.
but yeah, but wait,
Satan will not take to the God of
the reason
Abraham.
why I said Satan is the God of Quran is the devil of the Bible is because in the Bible God made a covenant with Israel. Anyone who hates, curses Christians or Jews or whatever, which we see in the Quran that even Muhammad cursed like Jews and whatnot. Like God has a covenant.
God
with,
cursed the Jews in the Bible, in the Old Testament, the Israelites.
He punished them.
He cursed Israel and he said,
Yeah.
bless Judah.
Yeah, yeah,
He said,
but,
Jesus cursed.
Jesus is cursed.
What was that? Move aside. Let people see us from our camera as well. Jesus is cursed.
There's a time in
okay.
Christendom
Let
you
me
believe that
let me
Jesus-
let me.
Is cursed something good
Okay,
or
wait,
bad?
wait.
Satan is cursed. Jesus is cursed. So I don't believe that. So logic dictates the God of the
Okay.
Christians is the same Satan of the Bible.
Okay.
Because God will curse. Allah is not cursed.
So
Allah is not abused.
in your hadith,
Wallah,
in your
finish
hadith,
though.
for example,
Finish
it
though.
will say in the last days, a Jew, a stone or a tree will speak out and say, a Jew is hiding behind me.
Okay.
So what does that mean?
So what?
after certain signs of
yeah, but
Satan,
no,
it
but
doesn't
wait.
return.
Yeah,
So
this-
that's how I said. If we go through
No,
next
but it's
week,
not.
I can go through it properly. But what I'm trying to say,
Paperboy, wallahi, I believe you went off the subject. You know why? Because the main subject is, look,
yes.
you said, let me out it.
Okay.
You said the God of the Quran
Yes.
is Satan of the Bible,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
My brother said, which I was going to say,
Yes.
that's why I was telling you, let me go to the foundation.
Yes.
I was telling him that, okay, if you say some is a Satan teaching, some is not, maybe, but everything is the same as God teaching. First of all, what is the first commandment? Worship the God alone.
Okay.
Don't worship no one beside Him.
Okay.
Who is the God?
Which is the
The
greatest
God.
deception.
But this is why I say next week, if we can go through everything properly, because we're jumping.
I'm not finished.
Yeah.
So the God of Abraham, Allah clearly said that the God of the Quran is the God of Abraham.
Yes.
Allah clearly said the God of the Quran is the God of the heavens and
Yes.
the earth and the truth between them.
Okay.
My question now to you, and we'll finish it, sir.
All right.
Is Satan cursed?
Is Satan cursed?
Yeah. Is Jesus cursed?
Is Jesus cursed?
Yes, Galatians.
At this present time, no.
No, was Jesus cursed?
Galatians.
Was he cursed?
Yeah, in the earth.
Galatians.
He took on the sins of humanity.
No, was he cursed in Galatians?
In,
He became cursed. Paul said he became cursed.
he took on a curse.
So Jesus
Yes.
cursed, Satan cursed. Your God is cursed. I don't believe that. So I'll finish that.
But,
Yeah, look at
yeah,
yourself.
but this is the thing, though.
That's it.
No, wait.
How
You
you
see,
cut?
the thing is, at the beginning, I
he
said to
became
him-
cursed.
wait,
He
wait,
wasn't
wait,
cursed,
No,
huh?
let me finish.
Remember,
Wait,
he
let me-
became cursed.
Wait, let me
So
finish.
wasn't cursed.
Let me make my
Satan was
point.
cursed.
Let me
So Satan was created cursed.
Wait,
said he was cursed.
wait. Let me make my point.
Who said the create curse? Who said the create curse?
No, Shamsi, let me make my point. Let me make my
Don't
point.
hide.
No.
Wait. Who said the
Let me
create
make
curse?
my point. No.
He said the create curse. He was not create curse.
Okay.
He became cursed.
Wait.
So Jesus and Satan are same.
Okay,
That's it.
at the beginning of this debate, I said I'm not going to twist your words and I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
You said that.
you can't hit and run. You understand? And be
I'm not
like,
hitting and
okay.
run.
No, but what I'm
No,
trying to say next week,
Oh,
we'll
okay,
go through it
I'm running.
properly.
But what we finish with, that Satan is cursed and Jesus is cursed.
Okay, but
He chose to be.
So who resembles Satan? According to your God.
No, but I can explain that. But what I'm saying, next week, let's have a
Paperboy,
proper conversation.
Even a criminal can explain why he can commit crime.
Yeah, but-
so you explaining something doesn't make it right.
Yeah, I bring it through scripture though. Okay. I can back up
My
everything
point
I say
is
from
look.
scripture.
So I will tell you, look what Allah said in the Quran. Say Allah is one.
Okay.
A master, self-sufficient.
All right.
He's not. Let me finish.
Okay.
He's not in need of no one.
Okay.
Everyone's in need of Him.
Okay.
He begat not, neither was He begotten.
Okay.
And there is nothing like unto Him.
Okay.
That is the perfect God. That's the God of the Israelites which they believe in.
Okay. Now, this is the thing. For example,
I'm gonna carry on.
no, just one point. For example, like
one point, give another
but
point.
like you've seen, I've been discussing. You've seen my videos where I'm discussing the name of Isa. You understand?
that's true.
There are many things in the Quran that we cannot add up because
No.
if
To be
something
honest,
happens that is true,
we discuss foundation. You know why?
That's fine.
So if the foundation is corrupted, that's why I'm sticking with the foundation. If we see your foundation is corrupted, logic dictates you're gonna have a. You should
so
ask.
next week, can we have a proper discussion
You know about
with more
what?
time?
The oneness of God.
That's fine.
Yes.
All right.
That who really who is the prophet of Israel
Yes.
and believed in one God or Trinity. And again,
All right.
you're
So
Christian.
next week we'll have because I've
oneness of Allah.
not tried to twist your words.
Yeah,
I could have or
yeah, I do.
whatever.
Yeah, I do.
But I'm just but I'm just saying that's why we can have a conversation
No problem,
next
Paperboy.
week. A proper
Look out to
conversation.
yourself. I'm sorry if I said anything to harm you or something like that. You know, because maybe let me clarify something.
Because
As a
I let
Muslim-
you do a lot of talking today.
Yeah, because I question you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, I don't believe Jesus was cursed, but I'm saying it for the sake of argument.
Okay.
Okay, just clarify that.
All right.
But I believe Jesus was holy and he was fair from curse.
All right. So next week we'll have a proper
Inshallah.
debate.
Inshallah
on this.
ta'ala.
All right.
By God's will.
All right.
Go back.
Look after yourself.
Where's your bag?
Yeah, so today's debate kind of went on a few tangents. Yeah, so again, because I have a lot of source material to draw upon and I kind of let Shamsi do a lot of the talking, but there's a lot of points that I can bring up against what you're saying, but for time constraints as well. But in the sense of, you see, I brought up things about magic and poisoning, but I would have gone through thoroughly all the different hadiths because, for example, he said, said it was just the one hadith about the poisoning. There are many hadiths that corroborate a line of what's happening until his death. This is why many scholars will say Muhammad died from poisoning, and Muhammad does things that go clearly against what the Quran says, or he says something and it's exposed later on. So from our understanding of the Bible, God always exposed sins. He says a lie will only last for a minute, but the truth will be established forever. So next week, if I have a debate with Shamsi, then I'll go through what he says thoroughly because, I even touched up on some of the sins and whatnot, but he jumps around a lot. So the conversation wasn't linear, but next week we'll have a proper conversation to see what is the true prophet, true criteria of a prophet, and then hopefully people can make up for themselves and clearly see that Muhammad was not the true prophet from Yahweh, but he was a prophet inspired from Satan. So until next week.